All right, guys, here we're going to talk about the movie Saltwater, the battle for the Ramree Island. 2021 Saltwater, the battle for the Ramree Island. Lee, you didn't see this.
Of course not, no.
No. I was so excited to see this.
Really?
Yeah,
you love crocs.
Well, I like crocodiles.
Gators, right?
I like this particular story is really fun. Like, this is something that's like historic. I like this.
What?
This is like a time where like thousands of Japanese people got like slaughtered as crocs went into a blood frenzy in the swamp.
That makes it so much stupider to me.
Yeah.
I hate this movie. This is the epitome of a movie. I mean, maybe not the, one of like, this doesn't need to exist. This is terrible. I hate this.
Oh, yes.
Etc.
We have a lot to say about this.
Okay.
This is one of the worst movies we've watched, and I will say that because it was fully competently made. Everything that's bad is a choice.
Like spitting into your face.
Yeah.
And being like, you love it, don't you?
Yeah. All right, so if you've seen this, or don't care, false over spoilers, and if not, pull out now.
If you need a place to rent content, you better listen. We're Cannibal Video and we eat the competition.
All right, so here we are for the spoilers of Saltwater, the disappointment at Ramree Island. I know that's not the title, but it's true.
Nice.
Now,
Review
I'm
over.
gonna.
Perfect.
Usually I would ask you now your spoiler-filled thoughts, Lee, but I want to real quick point out something that's on the box here.
Fuck you,
That
I'm prepared for the first...
equals to my disappointment. It says a mix of Jaws meets Dog Soldiers. Those are both amazing movies. Dog Soldiers and Jaws, if it was anything like either of those, this would have been great. If it was anything like the actual historical event it was based on, it would have been great. If it was anything other than people on a soundstage just pontificating about their lives and having very little to do with saltwater crocodiles in any way, it would have been great. If it wasn't just stock footage, and sometimes stock footage of alligators, it would have been great.
I don't know.
So I disagree with you because I don't think it would have been great, but at least
I think it could have been great.
But at least it would have been like different. At least it wouldn't have been as bad or whatever, or as much of a waste of my time, right?
If this would have been like
it clocks in at like a very disappointing because it is. It's like they're filming in like a 10-foot green screen room.
Quiet, Harris. We don't know how close we might be to a Japanese encampment.
Even the Japanese have got more sense to camp in the middle of a bloody swamp.
And
there's like
then
a kiddie pool with a fucking like lily pad in it.
Yeah,
like only their hand can ever be seen touching water during whole scenes that are in the water.
What's happened?
It doesn't make any sense.
There's literally like I'm trying to think of even how much like establishing stuff they might have used, but like
I don't even think we have any.
Tried,
no,
right?
No, I don't think so.
It's really insane, and it kind of looks like you said, like it's a competent film or something, which makes it all the more strange. And like, listen, I'm the guy who wants the movie to be about something, and they are trying to make it about like colonial, like imperialism, and like
it's like
this whole fucking
hashtag
thing.
woke, I guess,
but
in terms of what's happening, but it's not what they're putting it in that matters.
But there's so much of it, and like they're punching so far above, out of their league, trying for that stuff.
Anyway, India was a bloody mess before we came in and sorted it out.
Perhaps that is what Mr. Hitler thought of Poland.
Like the actors are like okay, but this is not material that they can meaningfully do something with. Like everything just falls so flat and weird, and then when it cuts to like it's time for action again, it's like so bad, and things do not come together.
Well, there is no action.
Way to do it.
There's like no suspense. I teeter-totter on if I think the actual attacks, and there are like 2 attacks like in the whole movie.
Yeah.
If those were even good.
Are you bleeding kidding me?
Because I'm like, well, something is there, and it's filmed in some sort of stylized way. But either I hate it a lot or I think it's okay. I'm not sure. Like, because it's such a... I'm like, okay, that could be just a taxidermied crocodile.
Oh, okay.
Because of how it's filmed, it's moving so rapidly and doing stuff.
There was one scene where a croc's like in the water, and I'm like, is that a CG thing that you also don't own, or is that a real... Like what am I looking at?
I think every shot of a crocodile that wasn't like one part where like a dummy's being dragged across the island at night is just stock footage.
Right? right?
Because it literally dances between shot to shot between that's an alligator, that's a crocodile, that's an alligator,
I mean,
that's a crocodile.
listen, who knows?
And like the
Who lives
quality
in the
changes
things?
and like the
listen,
direction
yes,
they're
yes.
going. They're never in the shot together. They don't even try to composite shots.
No. Like the trick that they're trying to pull or whatever is this thing that like there's really animals there or something, right?
Yeah.
I know the animals are not really there. That's insane or whatever. But they do show like a leg being bitten. And a guy falling down, like there's something sometimes happening, but those, like you're saying, are so quick that it's like they're obviously trying to cheat and like imply, because they do like a tight shot where it's cutting off the chin and the forehead.
He begged us not to go into the swamp waters because he knew we would ruin our shoes and he would get the blame.
Of a couple actors, and then it cuts to like, I guess what they're looking at, and it's like a different time of the day and a different place on the planet, and it's a fucking animal, and you're like, this is like, this stuff didn't work back when it was like a claymation monster. I can't imagine it being 2021. Is this mislabeled?
I was blown away by
this
that.
script might have been written in the 1940s. This is so old because it doesn't make any sense, and they're like waxing poetic. We can't accurately describe of this barely hour-long movie. It's like 20 minutes of like, well, maybe that Japanese guy has a brother too. Maybe you should think about it like this, of like deep conversations about war.
Well, the British took over India as a colony.
History,
and this is the same as that. It's like, who gives a shit?
I believe we lost 1,000 men overall.
Christ, I didn't print that in the papers.
Like, it has a cover
like they haven't
that
earned
looks
any of
like
that.
it should be, I don't know, Lake Placid 5. Like, this should be cheese and fun, but it's not. And a movie that has a 99% serious tone with like 1% alligator is the rest like poop jokes.
It's terrible.
And I swallowed the gum.
Very unusual flavor.
Did you just swallow it?
Yes, very, very tasty.
You're not meant to swallow it.
Like stupid things where it's like, oh yeah, I didn't see that coming, you dumb bastard.
The attempts at comedy are like insulting and wild and out of nowhere. But yes, the cover sets it up like, oh, this is, they look like they're on the mission in like Jurassic World, where it's like, we have to go kill the Indominus, and like they're or it's like gonna be like Predator. There's like a helicopter coming in, and he's painting his face, and he's like loading his giant gun, and you're like, oh, it's gonna be that. And I knew that it would be bad, but I didn't know what it would be, or when it would be set, or how little there'd be going on.
I'm not a historian, and I did not know anything about picking this movie up, but I knew about the Ramree Islands, and I knew about like this epic amount of Japanese people dying because they were pushed into the swamp where it was full of crocodiles. And I'm like, I bought it based on the cover, and I think I read the little tagline of like, oh, dog soldiers meet. Oh my God, this is amazing. So I'm like in the car riding home.
Your childlike mind from 2007 was like, oh, this is gonna be amazing.
So I'm in the car like riding home, going like, oh man, I don't know what this is gonna be about, but it's gonna be amazing. I don't know if it's gonna be from the point of view of the Japanese. I don't know if they're gonna make up something. There's gonna be a small squadron of blah blah to go behind them, which ends up being like kind of what it was.
But like,
and I'm picturing this thing where like, oh man, there's gonna be like hundreds of kills. It's gonna be crazy. There's like nothing. The movie is nothing. It's not even a movie.
Well, there's like 3 Japanese guys, and I'm pretty sure it's the same. There's only 2, and it's the same guy playing the same one of them or whatever.
It's terrible. Even the little action we get is so dumb.
Yeah, and when because they even fight with and like kill a few random Japanese like patrolmen or scouts.
He like hits them a few times, and then like his plan is like, take my picture, we'll walk away. And then like our like Indian compatriot guy happens to shoot one, but they like weren't even going to kill those guys or whatever.
I don't even know
his
what they were
plan
trying
was,
to do,
did he think punching them was gonna, like, they're on a sneak mission. And you have to kill them.
And he's so interested in like committing some war crimes. That's like what he says. Like, come on, we gotta get those Japs or whatever the fuck. Like, there's all this heavy dialogue of him being so racist and so shitty and hating, like the Japanese specifically.
4 of us versus 300. How do you think that's gonna work out?
I just want to blow a few of those bastards up. Isn't that what we're here for?
But a little extra hate falling off and getting directed towards the this random Indian soldier who's there.
Who is the best person in the movie?
Who's like an Eagle Scout soldier. Yeah.
Why did you learn to do that?
We have a very similar plant in India, sir.
It's so heavy-handed and so stupid and so whatever. But yes, he doesn't even he doesn't even cut off their ears and make a necklace. He's just standing there, and I'm like, you barely knocked him out, and then he stands back up, and you're like, of course he would. Like
yes.
To try to engage with the movie like the events are really happening, I think is a mistake. This is just designed to be like the idea of people being somewhat woke though, but like on a secret mission that's not a good mission, where they don't even succeed. They like accidentally think that it's
I don't even know. So I don't know if there were any missions like this on that island, but the mission itself seems impossibly dumb. So like it's like, okay, let's send 4 people. One of them is like a 90-year-old like general or whatever.
Watch your mouth, Private.
And their mission is, okay, we're going to take a picture of their depot.
Let's send MacGyver's boss, an obvious racist, Opie, and some random, sick-looking dude, and be like, let's go, guys. Some fucking
but the
thing.
plan
It's
is
so
just,
stupid.
the mission is to sneak in behind enemy lines to take a picture of it. What would that do?
So they can locate it. They don't know which building it is.
It's
so
dumb.
stupid. But their compromise plan is, let's just blow up these grenades and die, and then they'll all wander out and get killed by the crocodile. This is their island. They're on the island already.
What if they hear a few of these go off? They will think they're under attack.
What do you mean? And yes, to your point, there's some historical aspect where they were driven out and then randomly died.
This is dumb.
Sailors die sometimes.
The
but
thing
it's not because,
they posit here is that like they heard a boom, so they would march blindly into the fucking night,
just directly into a crocodile's mouth, just like a whole platoon, just going in.
I believe.
So
and again, not a historian. I don't remember the details exactly, but I think the invasion happened to take that airfield, and they were pushed into the and like thousands of them in the night without like their supplies got pushed into the
Desperate,
swamp. And it was something about like kind of like sharks, like a blood frenzy, like where they weren't even hungry, they were just killing every fucking Japanese dude.
You'll hear in Jaws, right? Tells a story about a ship that sinks, and the soldiers are just bobbing around like little weenie dogs, snacks for the sharks or something, right? It's like that sort of vibe. But literally all of it happens. We never see the base. It is all off camera. You are just we
barely see anything.
At most 4 people in a green screen closet filming this entire movie.
What about him? What's he doing here?
You're referring to Lance Stafado Singh, Harris. He's on temporary transfer from the 77th Indian Brigade.
Weren't there any English lads available?
A large chunk of this movie is in complete darkness with a smoke machine, and it's all close-ups.
That's
and
true.
Like it's, I was like, I like cue Jesse
There's no
Pinkman.
movie there.
I can't keep getting away with this.
Yeah, it's literally like it seems like some sort of money laundering scheme or something. Is that accurate? I don't know what you would call this. It's crazy to me that anybody was like, I need to tell the story of the cultural like complexities of like the British going to war in the South Pacific in 1940 something. So I need to include all these elements. But you're not making Saving Private. No one cares. What were you doing back home? I'm like, you're just supposed to get eaten by a crocodile. And then you don't even get eaten by a crocodile. It happens off camera. I can see it. Like, come on. What are you doing?
You were looking pretty handy this morning, though. Maybe the Sarge is floating down the river with a bleeding tropical leaf stuck in his neck.
I love one dude, like my favorite character actually, get bitten in the leg, and like you can see the bones and the tendons, all the juices hanging out.
I'm not going to be able to make it that far anyway. Not through the water with this leg.
And he's like, the guy's like, just sleep on it. You'll be all right tomorrow. And I'm like,
come on, you'll be right as rain.
Tomorrow.
It's all right. You'll be right as rain. We'll just get you up there, fix you right up. And it's like, what? Yes.
That man couldn't be deader.
Be all right in the morning. We've had a bit of kip.
Like even if it wasn't a crocodile's mouth, the most like infected bacteria-ridden thing in the world, he has to go through that water to get out.
The swamp has gone into his.
Oh my god!
The inside of your body, like where the
your
bones
inside
are.
of the body is on the outside of your body.
Yes, and the swamp is just pouring into it. It's not good. No. And he even says, "I don't think I'm gonna. Come on, man.
Take my lucky $5 or whatever."
Oh God, yes.
I liked how he said Japanese.
Don't shoot, sir. The Japanese.
Fuck the Japanese.
like the Japanese or something like that. He popped like great syllables.
Because he's doing a Mr. Johnny 5, which I guess is fine because he is that race or whatever. But he's doing an impression of a guy, of like a stereotypical guy. Pleased to be making your acquaintance, sir. Like he's doing all this weird shit where I'm like,
I like the cadence of that talk though.
It's cute and like
charm.
It is set then, but usually the filmmakers earn that by having people dressed up like that and camels and all this other fucking shit. And you're like, wow, this is a real movie where it's okay for people to act like that. This movie's just that guy's just a random guy where they're like, you have a beard, why don't you talk funny? And he's like, all right.
That dude touches his beard like every 5 seconds. Yeah, just constantly. And they must really love it because they're just filming him do it for so long.
That was to give the audience a chance to notice that he was looking at something.
Yeah.
So that
he is like Sherlock Holmes.
2 scenes later, he says, I was looking at the plane and I've deduced all these things. Yeah, he's Sherlocking them.
There are over 800 islands in this area, Singh.
Yes, sir. But not as many Japani bases with 300 men and even less with an airstrip.
But they can't just trust the audience. One stroke of the beard would have been enough, and I would have been like, wow, movie, you're really doing it. But yes, they film him for an hour just to give us a chance to go like, oh, look at him, he's putting it together and stuff. The movie, it's so insulting, it's so whatever, because it's not a movie about a guy that had something to say about imperial Britain, like Britain. It's all just put in there.
It is barely a movie.
Well, the script needs to have something. They have to talk about something, right?
When I say and I don't say these things lightly. We've watched some horrible garbage.
That's true, actually.
Horrible non-movie garbage where it's like, that's not even a movie. You just held a potato up and said, I'm filming. Not real movie. This does not have that problem. It has $1 million budget and it's just a waste of my time. It's so slow, it's so boring, it's a lie in every way. It is not what it described. The event wouldn't even matter. Nothing matters in this movie.
Hey, you know that thing that you may or may not have vaguely heard of, a thing that happened one time? What if there were some guys there that barely had anything to do with it?
Yeah.
The true, untold story of that thing you don't really remember.
Yeah, it's nothing.
So compelling. But you're right. So visually, it just has this gross green and brown grading of we're in the. It looks like a Vietnam movie almost, which is weird because it's set in the fort, whatever.
What were you going to do with them on a reconnaissance mission?
But I
think that was their attempt of saying this is old.
Jungle. Yeah, it's the vibe out there and stuff. But yes, filmed in a closet, filmed in whatever. Music keeps chiming in to tell me how to feel when there's nothing happening and it sucks. It's very the music. I made a note the music is still inappropriate. Things keep happening. We're what the fuck? But it's
tonality is just shit because it's we'll throw in these things that are funny every once in a while, breaking the tone of everything else in the movie.
Found the compass.
You gave me a bleeding heart attack.
Usually you would have those moments because we have to break the suspense because we got to get them back into it. That way we can scare them again. If they're always scared, it doesn't work. In this, it's let's break the drama with something stupid and then have some more drama. Do you want some horror in our horror movie? No, fuck you.
No, and there's no we're around the campfire and now we're joking about food and it's you like that? I love it. Well, that's expired. What are you doing? Oh, it's disgusting. Or some weird fucking bonding because they can't show anything because they can't actually go to the ground because there's no ground, right? There's no tree. So they can't show anything, they can't do anything.
The most non-habit shot in the movie, which almost opens it, is they're on the trail, he drops his camera, and you're there's no way these guys aren't going to see that camera. And then it's they can't look down, so of course they don't see the camera. Then he's peeing on his fucking head. And I'm how does he not see this? How will you get away with that? And it cuts back and the guy's just peeing like this.
He's peeing like this.
Who pees in a jungle looking everywhere but down? They're 1 inch from him. it doesn't make any sense. Like, there's no world where you couldn't see them walking up that way, or they're not like, like, oh, we're in Lord of the Rings and we're behind like a log. They're on the road. Their head is on the road.
But even in Lord of the Rings, there's people like, they should have seen them. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Yes. No, so like it opens with another guy getting eaten,
random dude.
And they don't even have that, where it's just like you see a mouth for a second, and then a guy screaming, and then like a bloody stump, and then his cigarette or whatever falls. It's this weird fake thing. This, what you're talking about, was like right after. It's like the credit sequence. It's like it like rolls out of a credit sequence where I was at first. I'm like, okay, we're getting to meet all of our guys, and I'm thinking, oh, there's like 50 guys. But we're just meeting 3 or 4 of them because you need to know. Oh, this guy's clumsy, and this guy's pissed off, and this guy's like older, and he's like, don't do it, don't do the dumb thing. And you're like, okay, I see who these people are now. This is great. Little did I know what I had in store.
Yeah, you think that's like the scouts ahead of the whole platoon or something?
I think like, we have to officially introduce these guys, and that guy's like, look at the size of his ears, he's obviously a klutz and he's wearing glasses. I know who you are perfectly, everything is all great, and I didn't know that was all all we had. That's all that's in the bag is these 4 potatoes.
It's nothing. It's literally nothing.
So focusing more on the Indian guy and the attempts at humor and all that stuff, just to because like I made notes throughout, and there's a bunch of these, but just to illustrate the concept, very early on he has to explain to Sarge, the guy in charge, the concept of the sun setting.
Look, the light is dimming. When the sun falls behind the tree line, I predict it will become very dark very quickly.
Or something, the way he chooses to say, well, the sun's very low, and I imagine that once it goes below the horizon, it will become very dark, so we should probably make it. It's this weird way where I'm like,
took that
yikes.
differently.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that was something, because he used some word around, like the halo around the sun. I thought like somehow means like there won't be a moon or something that night, or I don't know. I gave it more credit than it probably deserves.
Well, because it threw me off, where I'm like, oh, is this an attempt at humor with this?
You bloody stupid English idiot.
Oi! Watch it. There are ways of doing it.
Because I can't tell with the Mr. Johnny 5 way of acting if like that is supposed to make things a joke all by themselves. This character I wouldn't say is like the comic relief, but like then way at the end there's another joke where he like puts where the loudmouth guy puts the map onto the Indian guy's leg and he goes, ooh, like it hurts and stuff, and I'm like, well, that's definitely supposed to be a joke.
Look at this.
That's the route we're meant to take.
There's a lot of stupid things like that.
But I'm like, but this can't have jokes in it. Those jokes don't make sense, right? Like,
and I guarantee the writer was like, this is funny as shit.
This is the funniest shit ever.
Funny.
That's what I'm saying. The script seems like it's 50 years old.
Yeah.
They do the thing where it's like, my name's Jack. Let's stop calling each other like Sergeant whoever. And he says, my name is a long thing you can't pronounce. Just call me this. Where I'm like, oh God, they're doing the scene from Solo. They're doing the worst jokes ever.
It is
terrible.
Is such a long name. Like, you couldn't have a collect call and leave your name in that little void.
Hari Narayan, Shera Punjab Singh, Lal Killa, Chandni Chowk, Delhi wala.
I'll forget it.
Hari, for short.
Like, the joke is that their names are so long and but that's like way too weird and long and whatever or something. Or he's giving his entire name with his family names and everything, where I'm like, well, you wouldn't talk. That's such a
son
fake
of blah 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 from the land of blah.
The breaker of chains, the freedom of the beast from the east. All these different like all these things as a hype man there. Yeah, but it's so cringe because it's not even funny that they would do that. It's also just cringe. It's cringe and
completely
cringe,
expected though, because like the whole movie is cringe. Like, having like never showing a crocodile and a person in the same shot is super cringe. Like, all the stock footage leading up to things were like, it's like, that's facing the wrong way. Like, they didn't even flip the shot to like make these things make sense.
Fucking bastard crocodiles.
The only one that's good is
avant-garde.
When Pike dies, like, there's one stock footage bit that like looks like actually like someone close to a crocodile attacking, and I was like, okay. That one seemed fine, but like every other one, you're like, come on, like, it's a crocodile movie. Like, have a couple of fake crocodiles, like even just a floating head that can be in the shot. You can't even put them in the water because it doesn't make sense.
Something bit those legs.
Yeah.
Get off me, you
bloody ugly bastard!
But it must just not have been good enough for them to float out there, or they did float up,
or it doesn't float,
or it sinks like a rock.
It looks like they're dragging that through the night shots. Like there's like a very rigid looking tail, and I think you see a head for like a moment.
I forgot.
I think that they only have one practical, and maybe they damage it in the first beginning of filming, and we never use it again. I don't know.
Use it again.
But there's no information on IMDb about this movie because it's like not a movie. It's like a 2 out of 10.
No, it has to be a money laundering scam. It can't be a real movie, right? So this seems, no offense to anybody involved.
I feel like it's almost trying too hard with its box to be a fake movie. Like it thinks it is a good movie. Like those are some pulls. Like Jaws, everyone knows, but Dog Soldiers isn't something that like your random schmuck would. They would say like, it's a mix of Jaws and Jurassic Park. Like they would have thrown out some other blockbuster to pull out like an independent Irish film is like weird.
Dog Soldiers might be on the edge though, where a person who thinks like, hello fellow movie fans, I even like your Dog Soldiers. I'm even a fan of this. The guy, I was just double checking, he also directed something called Killersaurus. Things like that, so I'm like, aha, this is made by the people who brought you, and I imagine that movie on top says, he didn't want to reuse Jurassic Park.
Least, I haven't seen Killersaurus, but I would imagine at least that has...
a Killersaurus.
Yeah, because there's no stock footage of a Killersaurus. Oh.
Oh, I think you'll find.
Oh, yeah. It's the same crocodile footage. It takes place in the desert. It just keeps cutting to the crocodiles in the water.
Just in the swamps.
Yeah.
It's like pitch black. It cuts to bright sunlight. And I was going to joke and say, no, those 3D assets, you can buy anything now. But you're right. It will just be the exact same 3D assets as this.
From where I went in, like where my hopes were and for what it delivered on, that's why I say worst movie.
I'm so sorry that this happened to you. It was, in fact, a waste of time, unequivocally.
Yeah. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments below what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
If you want to support the show, head over to cannibalvideo.com, pick up some merch.
And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's something.
Whatever.
Fuck these motherfuckers.
Cannibal Video has everything you need. A wide array of VHS and DVDs. We ate the competition, now it's only us. Our expert staff opinion